welcome in, everybody. We're live here on the Hafeman Bros channel. Hafeman Bro number 2. Talking a little Bucks tonight. Excited. Oh, man. Man. Like, the Bucks. Holy cow. That game Saturday night was just a story of this team, right? I mean, they battle, they keep fighting, they get down big early, and they just don't quit. They don't quit. And I love that about this team. And that's this team's characteristic, defining characteristic. They have stars, they have players that know their roles, they have all this stuff that's helping them get here. But the biggest piece to all of it is that they're tough, they don't quit, they just keep coming at you. They keep coming at these other teams, and that's how they won some of these series. It's remarkable. Remarkable. And now they have an opportunity tomorrow night to win their first NBA title in 50 years in Milwaukee. I mean, that will be the crazy. If they can pull it off tomorrow night, that place will be nuts. That place will be absolutely crazy. And I'll be crazy too. Wherever I am, I'm going to be crazy. So I already saved up a little extra time off from work. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to make it into work right away the next day. Holy man. Okay, so let me just go a couple of quick things. And then I have a couple of comments, about this team in particular and just some of the things that were said coming in and the road that they've traveled so far. Now, nothing's done. Some people, of course, after they win that game, they're like, oh, it's over. They won now. The Suns can't win. Of course, the Suns can still win. Anybody can still win. That's the point. That's basketball, man. That's sports. Anybody can win at any time. And one cool thing about this situation with the Bucks is that they really, I trust this team. A lot of people gave up trust in them numerous times throughout this playoff run. A lot of people after, the first couple games against Atlanta said, oh, they're done. Got down 0-2 against Brooklyn. They can't win this series. They can't match up. It's not the matchup isn't good. And there were a bunch of people coming into this finals that said, I don't like the matchup, including Milwaukee sports people saying how, it's just a bad matchup for the Bucks. The Suns are a bad matchup for the Bucks, so they can't win. They're not going to win. They don't have the right guards to play with these guards. And it's true. They don't have the right guards. They got PJ Tucker trying to guard Booker all the time, or sometimes Chris Paul. It's not a great matchup for him. He's a big guy. He's not that tall, but he's a bigger dude. He can do some things, but he keeps after it. And he's emblematic of this whole team. They just keep after it no matter what the challenge is, no matter what the matchup is. So for all those people that talked about it being a bad matchup, well, you're right. It doesn't mean they can't overcome it because that's what they do. This team battles and fights. Listen to the road that they've traveled, okay? The Heat in the first round. That was the one team nobody wanted to see, right? In the first round out of the East. The Heat, because, they made it to the finals last year in that crazy bubble situation. You got Jimmy Butler. You got all these guys who are, big-time players, guys that can hurt you. And what did the Bucks do with them? Took care of business. Took care of business right away. Okay, so Heat. Then your next matchup is the Nets, the chosen ones. The super team for the Eastern Conference, right? That was supposed to win it all. That's your second round semifinals matchup. That's the way the Bucks landed, right? They could have avoided those teams if the seeding was different, or if they had won a few more games or whatever. But this team talked about it throughout the season about, they needed to work PJ Tucker and they needed to work some of these lineups and figure themselves out. So they lost a few more games than you would have liked during the season, right? But it's paying off now because they stuck together. The Nets were supposed to beat them. They were supposed to have no chance against the Nets. They got beat by 39 points in game 2 against the Nets. And this Milwaukee Bucks team said, it's just one game. Let's go back and play basketball. Let's win. And then their biggest star, the soul of the team, Giannis, goes down with that crazy injury, and they're without him to finish off the Eastern Conference Finals, and they get it done, right? So that road is probably the toughest road, and then a bad matchup in the finals against the Suns, right? Because they got quick guards and Booker can score and do all this stuff, and Paul is difficult to deal with, and Aiton's a monster, and okay. Hey, they don't care. They're just playing basketball, and they just play together. And sometimes they do dumb stuff like we rant and rave about, and other times they play awesome basketball, and they did that to come back from being down by 16 in the first quarter. Amazing. And Drew Holiday, they needed him. They needed him for that comeback, right? He helped get them back into the game by picking up his offense. And that's what this team has done too. So Giannis has always been there. Giannis has been awesome in the finals, no doubt. And then other games, it's other guys stepping up. And they need all of it. They might not need Holiday to be that big of an offensive piece in game 6, but they need some offense from him. They needed it in game 5. Game 4, they needed a huge game on Middleton. You know, Pat Connaughton, Super Pat, has done his thing and been a key part a number of times. Portis has had a couple of impactful games. Brook Lopez had some plays that really helped out as well. So, and Tucker has been impactful in different ways. So, I mean, it's just like this team knows how to kind of pick each other up, and they also know what they need, and they're playing together. They're sticking together, and they trust, and they believe in themselves. And I think that's the difference of this team over the last couple of years. And they're a lot more mentally tough. They take better care of the basketball too, which is another key element. Even with Holiday's offensive struggles up until this last game, he stuck with it, man. He was a huge part of getting them back in the game. And to go from being down 16 to being up 3 at half, that is one remarkable turnaround. That's amazing. Amazing stuff. And when the Suns are surging back, the way that game ended, oh my gosh. I don't care if you don't really like basketball or if you're not a fan of the Bucks. Like, if you can't appreciate that, I don't know. I don't know what to say about you. I think you got to check yourself a little bit. The Bucks are an awesome team to root for too. Bunch of great guys. All right, here's a couple of the key points I wrote down. One is a lot of people were saying this, and including some, like Max Kellerman on ESPN, which is the stupid statement, saying that the only reason the Bucks and the Suns are in the finals are because of injuries to other teams. Come on, man. That's ridiculous to say. There, on top of that not being the only reason, that might be part of some of the reasons, right? If Kyrie Irving doesn't get hurt, the Nets are a lot more challenging to deal with for sure. Does that mean the Bucks wouldn't have won? No, but they would have been harder to deal with and tough games for sure the whole way. But let me just talk about this. In 2019, the Bucks had a big injury to a very key player, Malcolm Brogdon. And that hurt them a ton. But are people talking about that? From 2019, did they talk about that? No. So don't give me that stuff now. Don't bring up injuries on these other teams right now, because the Bucks didn't get any of that injury talk. Oh, that's what held them back. Malcolm Brogdon was a key player in that 19 team, and his injury affected them way more than anyone could realize or even think about, because he did everything well, and he was an awesome player. I wish he was still a Buck. And then last year in the bubble, Giannis went down. So, hey, nobody cried for the Bucks then. Nobody was trying to, discredit the other teams who were advancing past them at that point because they had key injuries. So don't give me that crap now, Max Kellerman. That's ridiculous. The other one thing is, let me get my words straight. A little tired today. Is this team does need everybody, like I mentioned. They even need Jeff Teague. They need contributions from Jeff Teague, like I've said before. Of course, they need Super Pat. They need the guys from the bench, Portis. And I think I've got a sneaky feeling Game 6 is going to be a Brolo game. Not that he's going to be the leading scorer or whatever, but I think he's going to have a really impactful game with his defense, but also scoring the basketball. In the paint, I think he's going to get a couple of Splash Mountain threes in there too from a man Brolo. So I think that's coming for Game 6. I'm really hopeful anyway. And I just hope they win. I don't really care how it happens. I just want them to win. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about that game is when Drew Holiday threw the alley-oop to Giannis, I couldn't believe he did it. I was like, what are you doing? And then I saw the replay back and Giannis was calling for it. And then Giannis is talking about it after how he's telling him to throw it up. I mean, the smart move there, right, is to run some clock, make him foul you. But this team's not afraid to fail. They are attacking the game to win. Same thing happened with Chris Middleton a couple times late in the fourth quarter. He took shots where no one should have taken that shot, but he did it, and he made it. Amazing stuff, man. I love the grit. I love the fight. I love the heart of this team, and I love how they play together and believe in themselves. And one other really key point, the steal that led to Giannis's alley-oop and all that. I know some people are saying that's a foul. Well, you know what? There's a lot going on in these playoff games that aren't fouls being called. So I wouldn't say it was a foul. It might have been a jump ball at one point. I think Drew had the ball pretty cleanly there. But what he did do is he just muscled it away. He just wanted it more. And the only reason he was able to do that and collapse is because the Suns gave Devin Booker the ball, right around half court or even a little bit before half court, I think. And he had the ball in his hands. And guess what? The Bucks knew he was looking to shoot it. He knew he was looking to shoot it. And if you look at what all his teammates were doing, they also knew he was looking to shoot it. So everyone on the court knew Devin Booker was going to try to shoot it. So Tucker hedged him. Giannis got there quick enough so he couldn't shoot and get the shot off. And then Holiday collapsed. It's a brilliant play. But you know why it happens? Because it's a guy taking the ball himself, thinking he's going to do it all himself and looking for his shot first, even though he drew all that attention. Giannis, on the other hand, made some incredible key plays, passes with the basketball. He wasn't forcing jumpers. He wasn't necessarily taking a jumper when they were lagging off him. He was trying to get a better shot. He was either trying to get close to the basket himself or get an open shot for the teammate with the attention he draws. So think about that. The simplicity of basketball sometimes. Drive and kick, right? Draw some defenders, kick to an open teammate versus draw a bunch of defenders and still think, I'm going to be the man to take this shot. $3 right there on Devin Booker, and still he was looking to shoot it first. I hope the Bucks keep playing unselfishly. If they do, I think they can win it all, man. And then it's party all night in Milwaukee and everywhere in Wisconsin and definitely wherever the heck I am. Man, go Bucks. I love my Bucks. I love the team. I love the grit. I love all of it. Peace out to you guys. Take care of yourselves. Not sure we'll talk about Friday night, but I guarantee you if the Bucks win, if they win tomorrow night, maybe we'll get that out of the way before Friday night. But if it has to go to Game 7, you can bet we'll be talking some Bucks on Friday night. We'll get into some Packers too. I know Ben's lining up some stuff about Packers. So for all you Packer people, we'll get back to some of that. And training camp starts pretty soon, so not yet next week. So yeah, that's when we'll dig in more to Packer talk. Anyway, pull for the Bucks, even if you're not an NBA fan or a basketball fan. Man, everybody should want that team to win. It's an awesome story. Great team, great city, and the best superstar you could ever ask for.